Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. As always, leaving a like, leaving a comment, or subscribing, all of these things do help out the channel and its algorithm. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. It says, this is where Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Dogecoin prices are heading this week. It says, as crypto markets show symptoms of weakening, a top crypto trader is changing his outlook on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Dogecoin. At the moment, the cryptocurrency market is in red. I'm going to explain exactly why, because there's usually always a reason for everything. For those of you who want to know what this article says as far as where prices are going, the person who they've based this article on believes that the triangle formation that we were trapped inside of for months, we've gone over that many times, we always end up bouncing off of this little area, that we have now broken out of said area, and a lot of analysts believed that now, at this point, we would be going up. But once again, there is a reason for everything. It says, technical analysis, Ethereum takes a hit. Main reasons, $3,000 could be tested. I've noticed myself looking around, once again, very similar to the beginning of the Russia situation that started a month and some change ago, where crypto markets were going down. However, cryptocurrency websites and news places were seemingly unaware that the rest of the world was also spinning. And of course, this is happening once again. It says Bitcoin and Ethereum print a bearish pattern. Waves, halves in a week. I think we saw waves 2 weeks ago, pumping up the most in price. Certain days, Bitcoin and Ethereum were up by 2, 3, 4, 5%. Waves was up by 22%. I still don't think there was any actual waves news. Maybe there was information that there's potentially going to be an upgrade somewhere at some point, but still nothing materialized. Same with a couple of other coins as well that had very low trading volume. They still, however, managed to pump in price. Once again, dragging the correlation together, it says stock futures are lower as Wall Street struggles to rebound from a losing week. We are currently in the midst of a situation where a lot of traditional investors are very terrified, I don't know, about the idea of the Fed continuously raising interest rates, as the Federal Reserve has mentioned before that they are going to try to lower inflation, stagnate inflation, inflation. And this is causing the traditional markets within the United States and portions of Europe to begin to fall a bit lower. On the other, and I'm giving you all of this information as far as what's happening elsewhere, because like I said, all the cryptocurrency news, price news, basically revolved around the idea that prices are lower, but there's no reasoning for it. Or prices are lower, we're in this, out of this ascending triangle, we've fallen. However, get ready for next week because prices are about to explode once again. And none of them, zero of them, price-wise or any otherwise actually, mentioned anything about what's actually happening around the world. So we've seen the correlation before between the stock market and our market. I believe that this is because a lot of people who were into the stock market before, into traditional markets, have, when they see that the stock market is afraid, they also get afraid. I don't know how to put that in a more elegant way. Also, on top of that, for those of you who have not heard, it says Hong Kong stocks hit a 3-week low as Shanghai is once again going through a 19 event. That's right. Not sure if you've been watching the news, and this is why I said this is very significant. I was chatting with a bunch of other people, and a lot of other analysts are saying, for those of you who don't remember the beginning of 2020, it started in one place, and then it moved to Europe, and then it moved to the States. That was kind of the thing, and this is now another fear that this may happen again. So Asian markets are beginning to crumble or fall apart based off of that fear, because this has been going on for quite some time. And I'm going to assume, just like the beginning of 2020, a lot of people are not hearing about this news. This was meant to be a relatively temporary, you can't go outside kind of thing, but now it's kind of dragging on, especially as numbers begin to increase. For those of you looking at the screen, I highlighted the most important part right there. Yeah. And then on top of that, the other Russia news this week that we've been hearing, or at least that we are getting right now, is that apparently this week is also going to be absolutely terrible. And I'm telling you all of this in, as nice a fashion as I can, simply so that you understand why prices are dropping. I still see, and I think I will just see forever, a number of other cryptocurrency exchanges, cryptocurrency YouTubers who they don't really, not that they don't go over the news, but it's just like, don't worry, prices will be back up in a couple of days. Prices are dropping, but look at this chart. It shows us going to a $9 million Bitcoin. I think it's important that you have the actual news as to what's actually happening. If you formulate all these things together, the four things I just told you about, this equals a drop in cryptocurrency prices. We've seen before, anytime that there is a drop in the market, we are considered a very speculative market, rightfully so. And the idea basically being, if people need money or if people are afraid at a certain time, they will cash out so that they can have money to deal with these difficult times. So yeah, stocks around the world are not doing too well right now. There's a huge situation once again from 19 on the other side of the world. And yeah, that's basically kind of, I guess, all the price news. Is this also one of them? I guess not to be left out in any sort of way. I guess this also pertains to price news as well. The Miami Bitcoin 2022 conference has now ended, and there wasn't a bear in the room. I think the most bearish thing that anyone heard from is people were talking about regulations, as we know that regulations are going to happen, whether we want them to or not. And a few people in the room were booing as people were talking about this logical situation that we know is going to happen, as if regulators are going to simply be like, well, they don't want regulations, so we can't give it to them. An enormous amount of people got on stage, were there, and basically every single person was talking about how amazing, Bitcoin was, and how it's, and the really big kicker was this really weird time frame that by the second quarter of next year, that Bitcoin is going to do a 100x. I'm not sure where these people are getting their numbers from. Listen, I would not be sad, upset, annoyed at any point if Bitcoin rises by 100x. The rest of the market does a 150x. So I don't think anyone would be upset per se. However, the numbers are a little out there, with a lot of people getting on stage basically echoing that they see even Ethereum could go up by 100% quarter two. You kind of get the idea. So yeah, that's all the price news, at least for right now. A lot of people, and I guess I admire the rose-colored glasses, are still incredibly optimistic on prices, even in the short term. A lot of people believe this movement down is simply a final retest of levels, and therefore we are going to skyrocket once again to previous all-time highs and go past them. But understand that if our market does go down, it's because the world is, So that's all the price news. And without further ado, let's move on. Also this is actually quite surprising news, and I wonder what the actual reason is. It says, with new developments at Twitter, there's a twist in the tale. Twitter CEO Parag Agrawal recently tweeted that Elon Musk has decided not to join the company's board. The U-turn comes after the CEO himself announced the appointment of Musk to Twitter's board last week. In his recent email to the Twitter team, Agrawal writes that he has many discussions with the board and even directly with Musk. After Twitter appointed Elon to be the board contingent last Tuesday, the tech billionaire shared the same morning that he will no longer be joining the board. He said, "I believe this is for the best." I wonder what what the actual conversation was, because also in the daily Elon Musk news, we had reports that apparently he has suggested making Dogecoin a payment option for Twitter Blue. And of course, people went completely insane trying to buy as much Dogecoin as possible. Keep in mind, this man is a billionaire. I do not explicitly believe that you 1000% believe that he is doing this for freedom of speech. He's doing this to line his pockets. You don't become a major shareholder of one of the largest companies on the planet because you want to help people. That's not how things actually work. I still assume that this man has an enormous amount of Dogecoin, and this is why he keeps trying to push Dogecoin as something major on all of these platforms. I wonder if someone simply came forward and they were like, you have a monetary, not monetary goal. You will win a lot of money if this actually ends up going through, and there's a conflict of interest of you being on the board and pushing things that you want that only tend to make you and a very few other amount of people richer. But I assume I give it a month or two. Once a lot of this Elon Musk is no longer joining the board news, dust has settled, that they're probably going to announce that Dogecoin has, I don't know if it already has its own icon on Twitter, and then someone's going to announce that they're thinking about adding it to the platform, and then it's going to get added to the platform. I can just kind of already feel it. If they already have, I'm pretty sure Lightning Network is already a part of Twitter as far as like being able to send payments, and what's the other thing? To be able to tip people. I assume that's it. But part of the most dramatic news story of the day, and I only have one tab open because who actually cares? Elon Musk is not joining, at least at the moment, not joining the board, but I really wonder what the actual reasoning behind it is. So yeah, Dogecoin has, as I predicted last week, has been suggested as a means of payment. I wonder how much Dogecoin he has. All right. That's the Elon Musk news. And let's move on. Also in the news, it says Terra continues buying Bitcoin. This time, the Luna Foundation Guard pool added $176 million worth of Bitcoin at an average price of $42,600 per BTC. The Luna Foundation has bought Bitcoin yet again. The pool currently holds almost 40,000 Bitcoin, worth around $1.675 billion at the time of writing. I assume the price has dipped a bit because of the price dip. So yeah, Terra continues to buy more Bitcoin. They're going to do it for a while, as they have announced that they're trying to accumulate $10 billion worth of Bitcoin. I would love to be, what's the phrase? Like a literal fly on the wall, because I want to know what the discussions are like from the largest players in the market. Like how and when they decide to buy more. Like, do they get giddy when prices drop and they go, wow, look at this discount and we can buy so much more right now? Because we've seen that happen before. Tipping my hat to those of you who not even FOMO'd, who bought aggressively when Bitcoin fell back down to $5,000 about 2 years ago and loaded up on it because you knew that the price was going to go back up. So yeah, this was also quite popular news. It will be for a very long time. I think Terra, the foundation at least, has become like the new Cathie Wood's MicroStrategy kind of thing, where wherever they're in the news, we know that they're going to be accumulating a lot of Bitcoin. We haven't heard a lot from Grayscale in a while. We used to have weekly Grayscale news as to how much they were accumulating, but I mean, they probably, hear me out here, have taken a slight back seat as we have around 15 other more companies, and now we have actual ETFs around the world who are doing exactly what they were doing before, but they don't have the NFT moniker. So yeah, that's the Terra Luna news, continuing to accumulate more Bitcoin all the time. And yeah, let's move on. Also, in, I guess, news, I miss news, you might notice the news is a bit weird today. It's for those of you who haven't realized, the news was mainly today and even over the weekend. I'll give you the last 48 hours was mainly Elon Musk joining the Twitter board, the Dogecoin rumor circulating, and prices are down news. That was literally all that came out in the last 48 hours. It says the Ultimate Fighting Championship, or the UFC, the world's marquee professional mixed martial arts competition, is set to pay fighter bonuses in Bitcoin via a partnership with the website Crypto. The organization will dole out Bitcoin payments to the top 3 fighters on every UFC pay-per-view event. Is there still pay-per-view? Like with the old cable boxes, the ones that like used to shock you when you... I'm asking honestly. I didn't know there was still pay-per-view. I just assumed that everything was kind of... Okay. A spokesperson for the website told Decrypt the Exchange a UFC sponsor is supplying the bonuses, not UFC. Fan votes will determine the top 3 fighters, and those selected will split a total sum of $60,000 worth of Bitcoin. According to a statement released by Crypto, 30,000 worth of Bitcoin will be given to the first place, 20,000 to the second place, and 10,000 to the third place winner. Wonderful. This is not the first time that we've heard something like this. I assume behind the scenes, a lot of the fighters have been asking, hey, I would like to be paid in Bitcoin. As you're also going to see in the next couple of tabs as well, the idea of now getting paid in Bitcoin is now, I think, a completely mainstream thing. I also wonder if this is possible in a lot of other companies around the world, like companies that aren't crypto-esque. I think the first time we ever heard of anyone being paid in Bitcoin, I think it was 2013 or 2014. I believe it was a French company who simply started paying their employees in Bitcoin. I assume these people are long retired. Like, I mean, they're just on a beach somewhere right now. So yeah, the UFC news is that more professional sports stars are going to be getting paid in Bitcoin. I assume they're all going to, and I'm shocked exactly at how slow it's even going right now. It's going quite quick, but I'm still shocked that everyone at this point isn't simply being paid in Bitcoin. Besides that, all the rest of the runoff news was basically the end of the Bitcoin 2022 conference. It says Kevin O'Leary predicts trillions of dollars will flood into crypto. Says Bitcoin mining will save the world. I'm not sure exactly how he got to that point, but bless his heart. Also on top of that as well, it says Bitcoin is a super strong investment. This was said by Serena Williams. There were a huge amount of actual celebrities on stage during the conference, with a lot of them announcing that they do now want to be paid in cryptocurrencies. They think that everyone should be paid in cryptocurrencies. Like I said, this was a no bears allowed event. Everyone there was very hyper Bitcoin focused, and the same mantra kept on floating around that, what do you call it? A lot of people believe that within the next couple of years, Bitcoin is kind of going to be it. There will be no other cryptocurrencies, especially as we end up getting to the shocking conclusion in the next couple of years when people trying to mine Bitcoin realize that the last 1% of Bitcoin will take 100 years to actually create. And they believe that that's kind of the point when everyone will kind of lose their minds and everything will begin to skyrocket even more than that. And also in the news, completely unsurprising, it says panic selling grips India's crypto markets following new tax laws. We had this news around Tuesday or Wednesday of last week. A lot of cryptocurrency exchanges were not doing too well within India because the government knowingly made sure that they made a ridiculous new tax law. I think you get taxed 30% and then an additional 1%, and then there's some type of filing that has to be done consistently. I think if you use your crypto for anything, I think even a movement, forgive me if I'm incorrect, but I believe that this is it. If there's any type of movement at all of your crypto, I think you pay another tax, and it's like, they're desperate to try and get people to continue to use their paper money for as long as possible, which is just complete garbage and has been for a very long time. I have a couple of friends who live in India, and they tell me, like, you know, the plight of people living there. Also, we've had news before that India is desperately trying to create and finish their own central bank digital currency because, once again, world leaders simply believe that everyone just wants to use something digital. For those of you who don't know that, the idea from world leaders is that Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are only being accumulated and used because young people simply want to use digital money. And therefore, if governments provide the digital money, then there's no use case for Bitcoin, as opposed to realizing that people are trying to accumulate cryptocurrencies because they're decentralized and immutable, and they can go around the world whenever people want, as opposed to having to ask a bank, can I use my own money that I'm holding with you? So, yeah. Not the happiest news day, I would say, but once again, I try to be as realistic with you as possible when it comes to the actual news, especially if I notice anything weird, like a 9%. Anyway, that's the news. Moving on. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters: GBU Wally, Bubble Mode, How's Life Austin, Auspicious Agile and Blockchain, Jamie Saad, Blockchain Simplified, and let's move on. Empire Queen, Fud Weiser, Roman, Gaba, Bitcoin Ben Arachno, Dave, Tony Ambroski, The Dealers, Den, Captain Something in the Z-Way Lay, Mobarazi, VB Nerd 21, Miguel Grillet, Lauren De Silva, Quoted Biddy, Troy, all good. Space Case, Need a Miracle, Paternoster, Navarro Williams, Utopia 569, Moonman High, XRP, Martin Stoyo, Nostromo, John Sarson, The Anima Reader, Bibliophobia, Todd Mullis, Adam Graysick, Wise Night Owl, 242 to the World, Bankroll Network, Crypto Artist, Coldy 3D, Setsuna, Richie Rich III, Vlad the Impaler, Paxis, Nick Mangialavori, Jim Gardner, Jeremy Fox, Minting Coins, Yes to Crypto, Bodie McBoatface, Anytime Fitness, Monks Corner Staff, Bake Me a Cake, Tigger, Macho Nisa, On Crypto with Lionel, and Crayola Michelle URL. Thank you very, very much for your continued support. Thank you to everyone who is a member of the channel. Thank you to everyone who left a like. Thank you for all the support on my art. I do appreciate it very, 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 very much. At the moment, we are not dramatically down, but prices are still in red. Bitcoin in the last 24 hours is down by 1%. Ethereum is down by 2.2%. Over the last week or so, we can see the movement down since we began to get information that the Federal Reserve allegedly, especially this week, is going to continue to try raising interest rates in order to stop inflation, slow down markets, get things more back to normal. I think the only thing that really stood out, if you look around, I believe it was Monero, was it? Yeah, everything else is, once again, down. Yeah, Monero is up in the last 7 days by 11.35%. There's no, or was no, Monero news. Usually what happens, we've seen historically in the cryptocurrency space in times of crisis, if you will, is that privacy coins tend to do quite well as people are accumulating them for whatever the reason might be. They might assume there's going to be some type of a government crackdown or something down. And this is kind of the only thing I can really think of. I don't know if Zcash is also up as well. Can't even really find it, actually. I don't know. Nope, Zcash is also down, so that breaks part of that theory. Yeah. I do hope, and Waves is down by 50% in the last week. Yeah, I think that's probably the most dramatic drop. I do hope that you've all enjoyed. I hope this week gets better? Question mark. You never know. This is a really weird market. I do hope that you've all enjoyed. I do hope that you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope that it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, and or supporting, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.